Hey everyone, it's Lyss Houde from Winnipeg Sports Talk here with Connor Hrabchak at Manitoba Moose Production Day. We caught up with a couple players today to talk to them about their training camp and the season ahead. Here's my conversation with Winnipeg Jets prospect Colby Barlow. Welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk. I'm Lyss. This is Colby. Welcome to the show, Colby. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. Yourself?
I am doing wonderful. I'm glad that you're here to chat with us.
Yeah, me too.
First full season in Winnipeg coming up here. Tell us a little bit about what training camp was like this year. You know, it's not your first time here in the fall with the big club and everything, but what was this year like for you and your experience at training camp?
Yeah, training camp was awesome. I think I learned a lot and developed a lot over this summer on a personal level, and then was able to bring that to training camp. Show the progress I made, and just enjoy it as well. I played in a couple preseason games. That was awesome. One at home, one on the road. So the road was cool, flying and everything, and then obviously playing in front of the fans was special. So yeah, it was awesome. I learned a lot, and now just ready to get going with the Moose here.
Yeah, you got into a couple of preseason games, like you said. A couple of nice goals, whether it be in the scrimmage here and the preseason games. Good showing. A lot of people are kind of chatting about how good of a camp you had. How did you feel at camp, and how it felt kind of taking that step, like you said?
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty good. A lot of hard work, a lot of hard conversations just over last year and going into the summer on what I needed to do, what needed to kind of happen with me and my body, and just for me to progress, right? So I think I took a great step, and showed in some ways, and just want to continue to build off that going into the season.
Yeah, so walk us through what that off-season kind of looked like for you. Did you spend a lot of time on the ice? Was it more off-ice stuff, and how you kind of prepped in that way that you wanted to?
A lot of it was off the ice. I went to my trainer, Andrew Jones. We had a great summer. We built a plan and we executed it, and it was a lot in the gym, and then obviously a lot on the ice as well, just making sure everything stays sharp and working on my skating. So yeah, a lot off ice and still on ice as well.
How has the Winnipeg Jets organization kind of been supporting you through wanting to continue along that progress that you're making, and making sure that you're equipped with the tools, the resources you need to kind of keep going now that you're here, new province, new organization, and make sure you're continuing on that trajectory?
Yeah, they're amazing. I mean, during not just last season, but every season, Jimmy Roy and Mike Keane, they're talking to us throughout the entire season. But last year, at the end of last training camp with the Jets, I had a good talk with Arnie and Chevy and Wolfie on just what kind of needed to happen over that year, and then over this past summer, and we put together a great plan. Wolfie helped me a lot too with workouts during the season last year that helped me get to where I am now. So they've all just played a huge role in developing me and helping me get on the right path, and just continue to do so.
Yeah, I feel like when you've spoken to, whether it's Jets media in the past, to Connor and myself, talking about becoming more well-rounded in your game and working on different aspects of your game. Everyone knows you got an incredible shot. There's some real offensive gift there that has been on full display through your junior career, and we're definitely expecting to see that here with the Manitoba Moose this year. But in terms of getting your game to be more well-rounded, becoming a more complete package of a player, what is some of the stuff that you've been working on to really improve in all those different areas?
Yeah, it's a lot of little things that add up. I mean, getting pucks off the wall and in the D zone, and just making that first pass out, or making sure you win the blue line and get it out in the defensive zone, and just managing, both blue lines and the red line, and just stuff like that. And obviously winning 50-50 puck battles. Everyone's bigger and stronger going in, and you got to make sure you're ready to win those and compete every single night on those, and then obviously be really good defensively. I mean, you want to earn your coach's trust in that zone. So you play certain kind of minutes, and I think that's a big thing that I've been working on.
Yeah, so last year, obviously, you went to a new team, new coaching staff, new situation that you're working with there, got to play some playoff games, all that good stuff. Now you're coming back here for another new coaching staff, another new team. It's a big jump going from junior to pro. What are you kind of expecting to be one of the bigger learning curves of making the pro jump this year?
I think just, the pace of the game, and it's a longer season than junior as well. And you're playing kind of heavier games in a sense, just with the players that are out there. So I think that, but, I know the coaching staff pretty well now, through past camps, and the AHL staff is the staff that we bring that I had at rookie camp. So, learning from them and having them on the bench for, a few games already. So it's nice, already know them through all the camps that I've been through so far. And I was just excited to get started for sure with them.
We're about a week away from the the season opener here. You're going to have the home opener against Laval. What does a successful start to the season kind of look like for you of getting your feet wet with the Manitoba Moose?
I think just continue to build off camp. Kind of like I said before, just being good defensively, making those little plays that matter. And then just in the offensive zone, just try to do what I do, get my shot off, get to the net, get tip goals, just kind of stuff like that. Just, playing hard.
Yeah, for sure. There's another 2023 first rounder making the jump from the junior leagues to the AHL this year with you and Brayden Yager. Obviously someone you've gotten to know over the last year or so. What's it going to be like kind of being able to kind of take that leap together, support each other through the pro jump, and what it's going to be like playing with him?
Yeah, for sure. We've kind of already been talking throughout camp and whatnot, helping each other out in different situations and, stuff that's happened in practice, working on stuff after practice together. I think we've already been doing that, which is awesome. And then, it's nice to go through that with somebody and relate to somebody, if you have a bad day or whatever it may be, there's a guy that, could be going through the same thing as you. And, we come to the rink together pretty much almost every day. So a lot of conversations. He's a great guy. And, we're both just really excited to get going and make the jump.
Yeah, I think there might be some potential for some 5-on-5 pairings there, or maybe some power play between the two together. What do you like about his game and his skill set as a player that you think maybe you guys could kind of work together on the ice as well?
Yeah, he's a great player all around. I think he's a complete 200-foot player. He's a great centerman. He's great on draws. He's got really, really good vision and plays with the puck, and he's got a great shot as well. So he's just a really, really good, well-rounded player, and it'd be exciting if I had the chance to play with him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun for Jets fans, Manitoba Moose fans to watch. I think they're looking forward to that kind of youth injection into the lineup, but there's also some new veterans starting the group as well. What do you think it's going to be like kind of getting this group together? There are some guys who have been around before, maybe who were on the team last year when they had a little bit of a down year, but really looking to kind of get off on the right foot as a group with some new blood and some existing players. What do you think kind of is important for you guys to make sure you're setting the tone right off the bat as a group to make sure that the season is a success for all of you?
Yeah, I think just coming out together and prepared on, opening night. All the older guys and the guys that have played here have been awesome, talking to them and learning from them and just kind of, hearing what kind of the situation was last year. And obviously, everybody wants to have a better year and get going as a group together. So it's exciting that, everybody's ready to come in, everybody's hungry and get a new season going and have a great season.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of looking forward to it. Your first full season here in Winnipeg. Has anyone been giving you any kind of recommendations of whether it's things to do or places to try food or anything like that? You're getting into your first full season here in Winnipeg?
We've been trying to find some restaurants. I heard there's a lot of great restaurants around. So, we've been trying to find some good restaurants, us and the younger guys kind of, and, just kind of taking it in day by day and kind of learning as we go. So, no, it's been awesome so far.
That's good. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We wish you good luck on the season, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk. I'm Hrabchak, she's Lyss Houde, and today we're here at Manitoba Moose Production Day. So this video is my conversation with Jaret Anderson-Dolan. It was a great convo. Here it is now. Hello everyone, welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk. My name is Hrabchak, and today we are joined by Jaret Anderson-Dolan from the Manitoba Moose. Jaret, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
How have you been enjoying camp so far? You got into some preseason games. How's it going for you so far?
It's been good. It's it's a grind. But that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to, get back into shape, and everybody comes into shape to begin with. And if you're not in shape, you kind of get sorted out in a hurry. But it's been good. It's just getting back into the swing of things, and it's always an exciting time of year. Hockey's right around the corner. I think everybody feels that way.
Yeah, this is your second camp with the team now. Is this year different at all than last year? Does it feel any different to you?
Yeah, it feels different. It's the preparation's the same. I just feel a lot more comfortable around the guys, and the trainers, coaches. Just kind of once you have those relationships established a little bit, it's a lot easier. It's last year you come into a dressing room for the first time and you're meeting so many new people and creating so many new relationships. It's it's a lot of energy doing that. So this year just feel comfortable just coming in and know everybody and kind of know the routine with everything.
And one of the new additions to the Winnipeg Jets this year, obviously, was Jonathan Toews, three-time Stanley Cup winner, future Hockey Hall of Famer. Did you have any interactions with him in training camp? What is kind of his presence around the locker room like? What did you learn about Jonathan Toews in the short time in training camp there?
Yeah, you just, he obviously has that presence about him, and everything he's done in his career. He just, he's not the most talkative guy, but it comes up to you and makes the effort to make a relationship and give time to everybody from what I saw. And you just see how hard he works. He's one of the first guys on the ice every day and stays out late with guys and works on things. And that's what makes him such a good leader. And obviously it's he kind of drags guys into that culture of getting better. And that's obviously why he's had such a great career.
And we're going to talk about this season in a little bit, but I just want to quickly rewind to last playoffs, because you played 7 regular season games but played 5 playoff games, and most notably the first couple you played in front of the whiteout. What was that experience like for you, playing in front of 15,000 fans, wearing white, going crazy for the Jets?
It was amazing. Yeah. It's probably the coolest hockey experience I've ever had. Just the energy in that building, you see it as if you're watching even on TV, you see that energy. And then if you're in the building, you feel it. But being a part of it, being in the games, it's something I'll remember forever and, tell my kids about one day. And something I'll never forget. It's hard to even put into words. And I say it every time I talk about it, I get goosebumps. Yeah. So it's definitely a cool memory.
And you did score a goal. It was the goal where you and Morgan Barron both celebrated at the same time. Yeah. You both weren't sure who scored. What was that experience like, scoring a goal in front of the whiteout?
Well, it was obviously great, but it was kind of weird because it happened so quick and you kind of black out and don't really know what happened. But I knew I got a touch on the puck at some point. I just didn't know if it was before or after him. So
Morgan thought so too.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember joking that he kind of got the 2-for-1 on the celebrations there. But when they reviewed it and saw one off me, it's just. Yeah, at that point, you don't really care who scores. You're just, trying to help the team. But definitely, a memory to say you scored a goal in the Stanley Cup playoffs is something very cool.
Definitely one of the better synchronized celebrations. The video of both of you guys dropping down to one knee at the same time. The one thing that really stood out to everyone in that series was the physicality. And you played in 5 games in that series. I mean, what can you say? Was that maybe the most physical, series of hockey that you've ever played? It looked like it was just a bloodbath from our perspective.
Yeah, for sure. It's I think it was one of the most physical series, period. And I don't know if it's just recent history or whatever it is, but it's being a part of it. You just, you don't really know where the hit totals are during the game, but then you see after and you're like, wow, it's something crazy. And you could tell that was part of their game plan, was to be physical on our guys. And we ended up, I think, having more hits than them in that series. And I think that's part of the reason we ended up beating them. And definitely the most physical series I've been a part of, most intense, but that's Stanley Cup playoffs and that's why you play.
Yeah, I remember Scott O'Neill after Game 7 mentioning the hit totals. You guys did beat them not only on the scoreboard and in the series, but in hits as well. Another thing I wanted to ask you about was you were drafted by LA, played with LA and the Ontario Reign for a number of years. And then in March of 2024, you were actually claimed off of waivers. And I feel like that's a unique experience for NHL players. I mean, what was it like to be placed on waivers? I mean, for 24 hours, you're not sure if you're going to be getting claimed or not, if you're going to have to move your life from LA to Nashville. That's across the country. What was that experience like? And then you got claimed. I mean, did you pack everything? What was kind of that whirlwind like for you?
It was a whirlwind is exactly like you said, exactly the way to put it. It was kind of a, a weird way it happened. It was, we had a game that night and they had told me the day before I was going on waivers, but they said if I cleared, I was supposed to play in that game. So I was on the ice for morning skate and figured I had cleared because I was skating and got off the ice. And kind of a funny story to go with it, but Drew Doughty came up to me and was like, Nashville, hey, and I hadn't heard anything, and I was like, what? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, but and then someone told me to go talk to the GM, and that's kind of how I found out. But yeah, it's I talked to Nashville, and they wanted me on a flight. Yeah, I think it was 6 hours from that time. I don't forget what time it was. So yeah, definitely a whirlwind, and you just pack up what you can. And then I was lucky that my girlfriend was there to help with things and straighten things out. But it's anytime you're on waivers, it's nerve wracking. You never know what's going to happen. And, as sometimes you're happy that you're going to get an opportunity to play. And, obviously the real life of it is that you got to, like you said, get up and move across the country. So it's definitely mixed emotions, but crazy experience for sure.
And obviously, as you alluded to there, you don't know beforehand whether or not you're going to get claimed. It's just kind of at 1 o'clock you find out, and the GM lets you know. That's as simple as the process is. You have no inkling anyway if you're getting claimed or not.
No, I mean, sometimes you talk to your agent, and sometimes you can get a feel for things. But yeah, I had no idea. It was it was the day before the trade deadline, so there's obviously other stuff going on. So I kind of figured I had cleared, and then you just wait around, and when it happened, it's definitely a shocker.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to this season with the Manitoba Moose, it's your second year with the team. Obviously, a down year last year. What are you guys hoping to improve upon this year, and maybe getting off to a fast start? What are some of the keys for you guys to get off to a fast start and improve upon last year?
I think obviously last year was not the year we wanted, but I think we added some really good pieces, some good veterans, and we have some young guys that are turning pro that are, from watching them in camp, they're going to make an impact right away, and that's what they're expected to do. And I think we're excited for those guys, and I think everybody kind of has a chip on their shoulder from last year that was here. And then like I said, adding vets like DiGiuseppe, who's obviously won championship and knows what it takes, and that sort of thing goes a long way in the dressing room to have those kind of guys around. And you definitely plan to have a lot bigger year than last year.
You alluded to the younger players there. One of the ones I wanted to ask you about was Colby Barlow. We caught up with him earlier today. What are you kind of expecting from him? He's making the pro leap from junior to the pros as he plays for the Manitoba Moose this year. Obviously, he's got an incredible shot. I mean, are you excited to play with him? What kind of play style can he bring to the team this year?
Yeah, obviously very excited to play with him. I just have seen, clips of him and seen him throughout training camp this year. That's kind of the only time I've seen him. But obviously, you see his goal scoring ability from junior is obviously the shots there and the finishing ability. So, it's hard to learn that in pro level. But I think he's, he seemed like in camp he came in really good shape. In the practice I was out with him, he looked great. He looks good with the puck, and I think he can, create a lot of offense for us, and definitely expecting that from him.
And you also alluded to, the veterans that you guys brought in. Do you think that you guys have a good balance of young, up-and-coming veterans making the pro league, can add a little bit of youth to the team, but also veterans, DiGiuseppe, you just want to call their cup, that have been there before that can help the youth kind of come along as they make the pro jump? Yeah,
for sure. We have definitely a good mix, and you need that. You want the young guys to develop, and at the same time, the older guys are also, everybody's kind of competing against each other, and that internal competition is a good thing. It brings everybody up to another level, and that's what we need to have a better season than last year. But having the older guys kind of lead the charge and bring the young guys into the fight with you is definitely a part of being a leader. I think we have a lot of good leaders on the team.
Well, Jaret, thank you so much for taking the time. Best of luck this season. We'll be locked in opening weekend next weekend for the Manitoba Moose. Good luck this season.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Here's my conversation with Manitoba Moose defenseman Isaac Phillips, talking a little bit about getting traded here in the middle of last season, getting a full training camp in with the group, and being reunited with former teammate Jonathan Tapes. Welcome into Winnipeg Sports Talk, everyone. I'm Lyss Houde, and I'm joined by Manitoba Moose defenseman Isaac Phillips today. Isaac, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I'm so glad that you're here to chat with me today. Tell us a little bit about your first training camp here with the Winnipeg Jets and Manitoba Moose, how it's been kind of a little bit more of a chill path of getting in with the Manitoba Moose after getting traded in the middle of last year. Full training camp, how's it been?
Yeah, training camp has been great so far. Really tough. That was kind of the message they gave us in the summer. It's a little bit more condensed schedule for, the NHL games with that Olympic break they have. So they want everyone hitting the ground running. So it was really tough the first week, but it was good for us. And now we're feeling like 100% going into our first regular season game, which is great. But yeah, as you mentioned, it was great coming in end of January last season, so I could be familiar with everyone's faces and stuff. But it was my first time getting traded. So just that first week, how I felt there, if I was feeling that way this training camp, it would be a little bit different for sure.
Yeah, tell us about that. January last year, kind of get the phone call. Now you're on a plane coming to Winnipeg. What was that experience like, and how was it getting traded here to the Manitoba Moose?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. I wasn't 100% expecting a trade. I was actually told I wasn't getting traded, and then 2 days later, I was on a plane here. But it was really great. Everyone was really welcoming. Obviously, our team wasn't where we wanted to be with the Moose, but it was great for me to come in and try to make a difference. And then looking forward to this season, we're really optimistic at where we're going to be.
Yeah, so it's your first full training camp with the organization after getting traded from the Chicago Blackhawks. Following a similar path, I guess, to former Chicago Blackhawk Jonathan Toews, who's also here at his first camp with the Winnipeg Jets. Tell us a little bit about what it was like playing with Jonathan Toews kind of back in Chicago and now being reunited here in Winnipeg, what that's been like and about him.
Yeah, I mean, nothing but great things to say about Taser, especially playing some of my first NHL games with the Blackhawks. You can tell why he's been the captain for so long, probably the nicest guy to me in the dressing room. Make sure you're not left out, like invites you to dinner. Just, you can tell he's that leader for a reason. But it was great to rekindle with him here. First day comes up behind me and says, what's going on? How are you? Things like that. So it was great to see him.
No, I bet. And that you're, similar to me, 2000s kid. So growing up in that Jonathan Toews, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin era, probably pretty cool to have a relationship with him. What do you think he's going to bring to the Winnipeg Jets organization now that he's kind of here in game action?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of talked about it. It's just, that presence that he has. I mean, he makes you feel like just another friend. Like you don't really notice that you're talking to Jonathan Toews, 3-time Stanley Cup winner and all the awards he has. You just kind of feel like you're talking to another buddy, which is a great thing that he can do. But obviously he's going to bring that leadership, and also he can play. Like people are forgetting that how good he is. So it's going to be good to see him play.
Yeah, I think the Jets are real excited about that. But the Manitoba Moose, there's a lot going on, a lot to do this year to bounce back from last year. Tell us a little bit about what this group is going to be doing to prepare for a more positive season coming into this training camp.
Yeah, obviously we're really optimistic with the signings we've made in the off season. But yeah, we're working really hard. Even the last practice we had yesterday was really great. You can see the jump that everyone has. But it's just about those little details getting ironed out. Obviously, you're not going to be a perfect team the first week of the season. So just about staying the course and hopefully doing that over the course of the whole season.
Yeah, and you mentioned some new blood in the group, some new vets coming in, a couple of new young rookies and Braden and Colby coming in, as well as some new coaches, new defense coach in particular. So what's it going to be like kind of to see that success early on and make sure that you're able to hit the ground running and get everyone acclimatized and get off to a good start? Yeah,
I think we have a really good mix of like older veteran guys, skilled players, and the young guys coming in that are highly touted prospects. I'm kind of right in the middle at 24. I'm like an older young guy, which is good. So I can, still hang out with those young guys and still make my way with the older veterans as well and provide a bit of leadership. But it's just about, everyone like bonding early, like we're talking about going golfing and the first couple of road trips, getting together, doing team dinners and stuff before you're in February and everyone has their groups of 4 or 5 when you're getting dinners with the same guys, just about everyone getting familiar with each other.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, good luck on the season. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I caught up with Thomas Milic earlier today. It's a great conversation on the upcoming season, how training camp's going for him, Connor Hellebuyck, even went all the way back to his Canada World Junior Championship run in the 2023 World Juniors. It's a conversation you won't want to miss. Here it is now. Hey everyone, welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk. My name is Connor Hrabchak. Super pleased to be joined today at Manitoba Moose Production Day by goaltender Thomas Milic. Thomas, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks.
How's camp been for you so far? You're here with the Jets and now with the Moose. How's it gone for you so far?
Yeah, camp's been awesome for me so far. I really enjoyed my time with the big dogs and, hanging with those guys and seeing how they operate around the rink, how they, just the professionalism that goes into everything they do. And, obviously now back here with Moose Camp, I'm excited to get going with the guys and, start building that chemistry right away.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'll ask you about the upcoming season later on and how you felt last year went and all of those things. But starting on with Jets training camp in these past couple of weeks, the Jets do have the reigning NHL MVP. He plays the same position as you as goalie. How often are you talking to Connor Hellebuyck, bouncing ideas off of him? And what is he like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, Helly's been awesome for me, especially as we have a couple young guys that, get to interact with him on a day-in, basis. And, he's just super chill guy that's, willing to talk about anything. If you want to pick his brain about a hockey specific detail, or if you just want to talk about fishing away from the rink, he's always down to have a convo with you. And, he's just an awesome guy.
And I'm sure Eric Comrie's an easy guy to talk to as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We have a lot of fun on the ice together, and, it's also fun. I love his game, and love learning from him as well.
Another big storyline in Winnipeg Jets training camp is the addition of Jonathan Toews, multi-time Stanley Cup champion, Conn Smythe winner. Did you have any interactions with him, and what is sort of his presence in the locker room that you noticed over camp?
Yeah, no, it's been really cool, getting to interact with him as well. And, myself, there's a bit of a Blackhawks bandwagon back there.
There you go. Yeah.
They were winning championships, and so it's cool to, see him in person. And, just like I said about Helly, he's just such a chill guy that's willing to interact with everybody and, introduce himself and make friends. So I think he's going to be a great presence in the room for the Jets this year. And, obviously his leadership background is huge as well.
Yeah, we're the same age. I feel like everyone in that 2010 run, 2013, 2015, whatever, he was the guy from Winnipeg. He was the guy coming up. I'm sure you watched him a lot growing up. And if you say you're a Blackhawks bandwagon, then absolutely, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, Jonathan Toews is one of the biggest storylines here at Winnipeg Jets training camp. The last thing I want to ask you about Hrabchak is obviously you're talking to him, you're bouncing ideas off of him. He's a veteran now. He's well into his 32-year-old season. You are different styles of goaltenders, and I wanted to ask that because Hrabchak, he's made a career and an MVP career off of being big and boring, always being in the right spots, and he's 6'4", a little bit bigger. You're a little bit more athletic, smaller, you jump around the crease a little bit more. Is it easier or tougher to kind of learn from Hrabchak because of the differentiating play styles, or do you kind of take some and leave some else out of the advice that he gives you?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that Wade Flaherty as well was mentioned as well, that, he's not trying to coach me the same way that he coaches Helly. So, there's still so much I can learn though from a guy like him, just how good he is at filling space in the net and, really just understanding what it takes to close down those angles. So I think, obviously we're not going to play the same way, but, there's still lots of more broad philosophies that we share. And it's just really cool being able to pick his brain and seeing how he approaches various things, and Comrie, for example, how he might play that same situation differently. And I can learn from that a lot.
Yeah, and Comrie, I'd imagine, is a little bit closer to your play style as well, being a smaller goalie, a little bit more athletic. Another goalie that I wanted to ask you about with the Manitoba Moose is Dom DiVincentis. I mean, he's another younger goalie, drafted a year before you with the Winnipeg Jets. How nice is it to have another young goalie in the system that you can kind of bounce ideas off of with him and kind of develop at the same time together?
Yeah, absolutely. Dom and I have been great friends the last couple of years, working through the organization here. And, I think that's just going to keep going. He's a great guy and we get along well. And, I think, like you said, having another young guy that's in a similar situation to you to, talk about stuff with and, just go through it together. So I think we're going to have a good year this year.
Absolutely. The last thing I want to ask you about, and we're going back a little bit here, before we talk about this upcoming season, is your run with Canada at the World Juniors in Halifax. I mean, Jets fans, obviously you weren't with the Jets at that time yet, but once you got drafted, looking back on that, what do you remember from that tournament? I mean, obviously you guys won gold and it was in Canada, in Halifax, incredible atmosphere. What kind of stands out to you when you look back on winning gold with Canada?
Yeah, it's crazy how long ago that's already, how much time's passed already. But I think the biggest thing is just the atmosphere there of playing in front of, hometown fans.
Yeah.
And, I think that's something that I really felt a lot coming to Winnipeg here is just the passion in the fans and the crowd. And I think really just knowing that there's a whole country behind you is a pretty special thing.
Yeah, and that, the past couple of years after your guys' gold medal, Canada's lost in the quarterfinals, and people will forget it would have been 3 straight years had you not made a save in the quarterfinals against Slovakia in overtime, an incredible diving save. What do you remember about that overtime specifically? Because it wasn't the only overtime either in the medal rounds for you guys in the gold medal game too.
Yeah, I remember honestly not really having that big of a sense of panic in that moment, because I think I just had a lot of faith in our team, and looking back now, obviously realizing what could have happened and how it could have played out differently. But I think just having a lot of trust in the guys in that room, and obviously looking back now at where a lot of those names are playing and the success they're having, it's hard to believe we could have gone any other way.
Yeah, and obviously Connor Bedard was on that team and set a ton of records. I mean, what was it like watching him go on that crazy run from the crease, out scoring the goal in overtime against Slovakia and things like that? What was that like?
Yeah, no, he's somebody that I've known for quite a while, another British Columbian. So
nice, yeah.
Even in the summer here, I get to skate with him. So I think it's just, one of those things where you always knew that was going to happen. And, just seeing it all come together, it's pretty cool to watch.
Absolutely, yeah. So now moving on to this season. Last year you bounced between the AHL and the ECHL with Norfolk, posted a .935 save percentage with Norfolk. This season, what are kind of your personal goals for the season as you embark on a new year with the Moose?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a goal for me this year is to have a lot of success in the AHL.
Yeah.
Last year, personally, and then as a team, it didn't go quite the way we planned it to. So I think really just keeping that momentum going from last year. I had a great finish personally, and then the team down in Norfolk did quite well as well. So, I'm really excited about the guys that we're bringing in this year and all the guys that are coming back, and it's feeling good around the room.
And I've asked a few of the other guys today about the balance. You mentioned some of the veterans there, and some of the younger players like Colby Barlow, Braden Yeager are making their pro leap. You add that in with veterans like Samuel Fagamo, Philip DiGiuseppe, Jaret Anderson-Dolan. Do you feel like the team has a good balance of good veteran presence and those young players that will come along as the season goes on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's huge for a team to have a good balance like that. Of, like you said, the younger guys, they're just getting into it. They're excited to take on the pro journey. Yeah. Of course, the more veteran guys as well that, can guide them in the right direction. So I think it's going to be great for us. And, we just seeing the vibe around the room has been really good lately. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
What's some of the talk around the room? I know the Jets, they're big into fantasy football. Do you, what is the talk around the Moose? Is it NFL? What dominates discussion in the room?
Yeah, it's a little all over the map. It's not one thing necessarily, but a handful of us from last year have a fantasy league going.
There you go. Yeah.
That gets talked about quite a bit.
How'd you do in the fantasy league?
I'm 4-1 right now.
Oh, there you go. Not bad. Good start. There you go. There you go. Okay. The last one I have for you today is just, you guys talk about bouncing back from last year. How key is a strong start to the season, really hitting the ground running in the first couple of months here to avenging what was a down year last year and hopefully a better year this year?
Yeah, I think it's huge. It's something that you want to start off on the right foot no matter what you're doing. And, I think this year there's a lot of confidence in the room for having a start like that. And, even if, things don't go perfectly, I think, there's a lot of resiliency in this group that we can turn anything around.
Well, thank you so much, Thomas, for taking the time. Best of luck this season. We really appreciate it much.
Here's my conversation with Isaac Poulter, the Winnipeg product who's back here in his hometown as a goalie with the Manitoba Moose for this upcoming season. We caught up a little bit. Here's our conversation. So welcome back to Winnipeg Sports Talk, everybody. I'm Lyss Houde, and I am joined by Isaac Poulter today, one of the new additions to the Winnipeg Jets and Manitoba Moose organization. Isaac, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Winnipeg.
Thank you very much. I'm doing really well, thanks. How are you?
Good. I'm great. I am super excited to be joined by a fellow Manitoba product. We're going to chat about some Manitoba Moose, Winnipeg Jets stuff today. First, though, walk us through a little bit about what it was like making the decision to come back here, why you decided it was going to be a good fit, and signing with the Jets this summer.
I mean, things kind of changed my plans kind of going into the summer, and then obviously, have the opportunity to come back home, go to Winnipeg. It was an easy decision, really, for me because, my girlfriend's going back to school here. All my family and friends are here, so it made it really easy just to come back and want to be back home.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. I'm very curious. You grew up in Winnipeg and Manitoba area. Think we might be the same age. Are you 2001?
Yeah.
2001. So you grew up in that era of knowing the Manitoba Moose being here, and then the Winnipeg Jets coming back at a very influential time in your life. What was it like kind of living through the experience of the Winnipeg Jets coming back to your hometown as a kid?
It was pretty crazy. Obviously, grew up watching the Jets, watching, all these guys, NHL hockey, and then, there used to be some preseason games here for the NHL when we were younger. And then, finally hearing that they might come back. And then once they came back, it was wow, gotta get tickets right away. They sold out so fast. So it was nice to have, that back, especially like you said, influential age, being able to watch a lot of NHL hockey growing up and kind of, having those guys around town is just really cool.
Did you have any favorite Winnipeg Jets growing up? Were you a Jets fan? Did you grow up a Jets fan when you were 10, 12?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, once they came back, I was a huge Jets fan. Always just the goalies, all the guys we have, Pavlik, them. But more so the Moose were. I was a huge fan of all their guys, Corey Schneider, Drew McIntyre, Mike Keane, all those guys. I was a huge fan for. So, once the Jets came, it was finding all these new guys, and obviously just watching all the other teams they played. The first game having Carey Price, it was oh my gosh, this is so cool. But no, I was definitely a huge fan of the Jets.
So you mentioned Drew McIntyre, Mike Keane, a couple of guys that are still with the Manitoba Moose organization. What's it been like kind of coming back here and getting to know them in a very different lens than maybe when you were growing up in the stands watching them play with the Moose?
I mean, yeah, it's very different. It's, you know, they're around every day. I work with Drew every single day, see Mike almost every day. So it's like, these are guys I used to watch, but now it's like you just work with them. They're great people, so they make it easy to hang out with like that.
Yeah, for sure. So looking at this Manitoba Moose group, you know, we talked about the coaches, got some new players coming in. As a new player, what's it kind of like coming into this organization with some other guys? There's a bunch of players who are new to the Manitoba Moose crop this year. What's it been like kind of having this training camp experience together and kind of getting acclimatized to the Winnipeg Jets?
I mean, everyone is so welcoming. Like knowing a couple guys from, you know, guys I've played with or just the guys I've kind of known on the team, everyone's so welcoming. It's been a really easy transition for me getting to know all the guys. I mean, they hang out all day here, so there's lots to talk about and lots of, you know, mutual friends and everything. So I feel like it's been a pretty good transition so far.
Are there any guys that you've either, when you come back here during the off seasons and do some training or anything like that, are there some familiar faces that you're going to be working with now that you've worked with professionally even before you played with the organization?
I mean, Reese Svitelli and I grew up playing against each other for a while, so I mean, we had a lot of battles growing up, and then now it's like we've last couple of summers been skating together and everything. But you know, he's been a big part of it. He knows all the guys from being here last year, so to have him kind of, you know, help introduce me to guys has been really nice.
Nice, yeah. What about some of the Winnipeg Jets players? Obviously, as a goaltender, getting to go to training camp with one of the first goalies to win a Hart in quite some time. It's probably a pretty special experience in Connor Hellebuyck. What's it been like getting to develop a little bit of a relationship with him and guys like Eric Comrie as well?
I mean, they're two great people as well as their goaltending abilities. So, you know, spent a little bit of time with Connor Hellebuyck, but mostly spent a lot of time with Eric Comrie. Been in the same group for a couple of skates. So, you know, we got to chat a lot, work out together. So just kind of like pick their brain on what they see in their game that they like. And, you know, obviously just being able to watch like Helly for a little bit has been really nice.
Yeah, I bet it's probably a pretty cool feeling, especially considering how incredible he is league-wide in terms of his recognition for being an incredible goaltender. Lots to learn from there. But there are also some really strong goalies in the Manitoba Moose organization in Thomas Milic, Dom DiVincentis. What do you foresee your relationship with those guys being like, working together to kind of help the Manitoba Moose have a great season this year?
I mean, they're two great people as well. I mean, I feel like all the goalies they have here are great people as well as their on-ice ability. So, you know, getting to know them every day, like skating together, doing that kind of, you know, just bouncing ideas off them. We're all goalies. We're all trying to stop as many pucks as possible, but, you know, trying to figure out just what kind of like their roles are, what like we want to do as like a group together, and everything like that's been great.
That's awesome. When being back in Winnipeg, obviously you're no stranger to the city. Oftentimes when people come to a new organization, they're getting to know a new team as well as a new city, but you kind of have that second part taken care of. Is there anything that you're really looking forward to about being here, whether it's, you know, some of your favorite restaurants that you get to go to more often now and stuff, or spending more time with friends and family? What are you looking forward to about getting to spend more time in your hometown again?
I think it's definitely like the friends and family. I haven't really been home since I was like 13 or 14 for a full year. So, you know, a little more time at Christmas and, you know, just kind of all the holidays, birthdays that you miss along the way, just being able to probably hopefully spend some more time at some family gatherings and some more time with my friends.
Have people been asking you for tickets already or buying the season tickets to get to the Moose now?
Some people have definitely asked me for tickets, but also, you know, a lot of people are just getting season tickets ahead of time. So that's been good, but no, it's been so different and nice to have everyone be able to come out and watch practices or games, whatever it is, just have some more time at home.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to for this whole season?
I mean, you know, just it's always an opportunity to come somewhere and, you know, to play the game I love and, you know, be home and do that and not have to go anywhere else. It's pretty special for me.
That's awesome. Well, we wish you good luck on the season. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.